Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about Netflix and their latest big controversy. So this controversy actually revolves around a new Netflix special on Dave Chappelle. Now Dave Chappelle, for those of you who don't know, is a very well-known and popular comedian, very much so known for his very raunchy and dark humored themed jokes. He's very funny in my personal opinion. I am not somebody who, really watches comedians. I don't really follow any comedians, but I knew of Dave Chappelle, and I decided to watch Dave Chappelle's special, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. So again, this controversy stems from this special, right? Dave Chappelle in this special makes a few comments that are related to some related to the LGBTQ plus community, but also, more specifically, towards transgendered people. He makes a lot of, I guess, gender jokes, I'd say. And this did not go well this is not something that went by with transgender people and people in this community. A lot of Netflix employees actually staged a walkout because of this. I believe it happened yesterday, the walkout. And they were protesting Netflix to, I guess, remove the Dave Chappelle special off of Netflix because of, I guess, the quote-unquote transphobia, portrayed by Dave Chappelle's jokes in the special. Now, before I give any more opinions, I just want to make this very clear and transparent. I support people's, choices. I don't care if you want to be, if you are transgender, if you're gay, if you're bisexual, I don't give a shit. I really don't. That's your choice, and if that makes you happy, that's fine with me. I do not care. It does not bother me in the slightest, and I support your fact to choose to live by this lifestyle. However, what I don't support here is the things that these protesters were actually doing to some of the anti-protesters, and just we'll go into it deeper in a second. But again, I support people in the LGBTQ community. I've had friends that are in the, revolve that community. I support them very much so. I'm not against it in any way. I just want to make that clear before I say anything. But yeah, I think I have no problem with Dave Chappelle's jokes. I mean, I feel like if people know Dave Chappelle, right, or know of Dave Chappelle, they should know of what they're gonna go into, right? You know that you're not gonna get some like light humor that's meant for everybody. It's gonna be raunchy. It's gonna be a little dark sometimes. And you are not, you do not have to like everything, right? You don't have to think everything is funny, and that's fine, right? You don't if you don't think Dave Chappelle's funny, that's absolutely fine. You don't have to think he's funny. But there are a lot of people who do think he's funny, and that's also fine too. The problem here lies with something that actually happened during this protest, right? During this protest, the a bit of I guess Dave Chappelle supporters started coming into this protest, right? Holding signs saying, I think Dave Chappelle is funny, or just saying stuff like I like jokes, and we're gonna get into this more in a second here. But there is another thing that is a bit that needs to be addressed, right? There are a couple of news outlets out there that are actually twisting the truth and twisting the story in a way that is just completely false. We're gonna go over one specifically in a second, but another one example is like Rolling Stone, painting these like Dave Chappelle supporters as these villains, right? And that's just not the case. So we're gonna see another example here in a second that also involves what really made me upset about this protest. So there's a bit of an incident at this protest, right? And again, like I said, a couple of Dave Chappelle supporters came to the protest and actually started protesting themselves about how they think Dave Chappelle is funny, and why, and like supporting, hey Netflix, I don't care, don't remove this, it's funny, I like it. But there's actually another thing that happened, right? A pretty big thing, and it involves a YouTuber slash comedian known as Vito Gesaldi. If I mispronounced his name wrong, I apologize. But this is a very viral video that happened, right? Where you see like how people kind of responded to Vito in particular during this protest. He got it all on camera. I think it's about like a minute and a half long of the video, and we're gonna watch it here in a minute. But pretty much what happened was that people there were pretty much, trying to just push him out and get him out of their protest, right? They were pretty much denying his right to protest in a sense. You'll see in the video they damaged his sign, they broke it, They tried to get the cops to pull him out by saying he had a weapon. They were pushing him. They were all trying to like get around him and force him to leave. It was very much so not something that should have happened, right? Because when you're somebody who's protesting, right? You do not have the right to say, "Oh, I'm going to make this guy stop protesting because it's disrupting and going against my protest." That's not how this works. And like I said earlier, there are some news outlets out there that are spinning the truth, and they're actually using this image from Vito's video, spinning him as kind of like the bad guy in a sense. And I'm just gonna show you that, number one, this is completely fake. This is a fake statement and it's false. But number two, that these fucking media outlets that are plastering this like as, oh, this guy is being, homophobic or transphobic, and he's trying to stop this protest or something like that. He's being, rude and disrespectful. That's just not the case. So here we have a tweet from Variety, right? Another news outlet. And you can see, let's read the tweet right here. At times, the hashtag Netflix walkout situation threatened to devolve as counter-protesters pushed against trans speakers. Now, you can see in this picture, right, how, the guy in the hat, right, with the beard, he's got his backpack on. This here is Vito. This is the guy who is, the, I guess, quote-unquote anti-trans speakers, right? He's against these people. That's not the case, by the way. He's not anti-trans. He is actually pro Dave Chappelle is what he pretty much is. They picked this image to kind of portray it as, like, you can see here that Vito is kind of close to another person here, and maybe it looks like, oh, Vito's trying to push this person away or something so he could get through or something. Again, not the case. And the stupid thing here is, right, that there is video proof of what happened and how pretty much this guy is just in the innocent, and he's also exercising his right to protest, but is being denied that this right, I guess, in a sense, to protest because of these other protesters here. And let's go ahead and watch the video. We're gonna break it down piece by piece and just show you what's happening.
Why is he breaking my sign? Why is he breaking my sign? Don't you have free speech rights? Don't you have free speech rights for all of you? Oh, look, there's such a... He's got a weapon! He's got a weapon! He's got a weapon! He's got a weapon!
So you see right here, another protester decided to take Vito's sign and just kind of just destroy it, leaving him with just the stick he was using to hold it up. And people, he was destroying it. They were, breaking it, snapping it. And then when it was destroyed, a bunch of people started cheering. And then you hear the person, who destroyed it say, I guess this is the person, saying, oh, he's got a weapon. He has a weapon here. And everybody starts, there's a couple of people also, join this, like, oh, he's got a weapon. And they're doing this to try and get him out of the protest, right? Now, let's just go over this, right? Number one, they broke his sign, which is just something it's just a very rude thing to do, because this person is also, he's also practicing his right as an American citizen to protest. This is an amendment. This is something that he can do. And we have people here that are denying him of these rights and this privilege to protest. Now, obviously, this is something that should not be decided by these people. Now, let's say Vito was being, aggressive. He was pushing people. He was throwing hands. He was saying rude things. He was saying a couple slurs, something like that. Maybe then, if, giving about a bit of a counterattack, by breaking his sign, I guess you could see that. But obviously, he's pretty peaceful, right? He's not doing anything. He's being a little sarcastic with it. He's laughing because he thinks it's pretty funny that there's people trying to really push him out from this. And I think it's very funny too that people are just so vehemently trying to get him out of this protest. But again, this is just something that should not have happened, because again, as an American citizen, you have the right to protest. And, Vito is just practicing this right, and he was just denied it. But anyway, let's keep going, and let's keep watching the rest of the video.
Oh, do you want me to drop my weapon?
Yes.
Okay.
And leave.
There's my weapon.
We're not trying to have any discussion.
I'm not discussing anything.
You're talking We're trying not to have any discussion.
I'm just here to say that jokes are funny, people. Dave Chappelle is a funny guy. I love Dave. I don't know why all the violence. I don't know why all the hate. I just love Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle!
All right, so sorry for laughing, but I'll explain why in a second. So you see here, right? You have people, starting to surround him a little bit. They're trying to get him to drop his stick. He politely drops the stick. He just throws it to the ground, sets it aside, and he's just being like, "Oh, it's like I'm just here to say I love Dave Chappelle and I think he's funny." And it's just funny how you have some, fucking idiot here, banging shaking the shit out of a tambourine, saying "Repent, motherfucker!" like it's all about religion. Last time I checked, I don't really think this was a protest on religion or anything like that. I don't know why the fuck she's saying "repent, motherfucker" to Vito. I don't know why this is happening. She's screaming it she's very "repent, motherfucker," and she's very vehemently trying to get she's very much so into this action for some reason. I don't know why the fuck she's doing it. I thought it was fucking hilarious how stupid it was, because again, he's just here, I love Dave Chappelle, and he's like, I support Dave Chappelle and all that shit. And you have this person here saying, "Oh, fucking repent, because this has something to do with religion, even though it doesn't." That's pretty much it. He's just we're not gonna watch the rest here. Pretty much all he does is just I just here to say I love Dave Chappelle, and he's like, I want my poster board back. He's being a little sarcastic about it. But you can see here, right, clearly, very clear as day, Vito was by no means aggressive. He wasn't being disrespectful. He wasn't being rude. He wasn't, being hostile to anybody. He was just here to protest, just like these people. He was just here to say that he loves Dave Chappelle and he thinks he's a funny guy. That's all he was here for. And these people just said, not in my fucking protest for some reason. I can protest whatever the fuck I want, but you, because you're against the things I'm protesting, you can't be here. Now, there's one more thing I want to say, right? I kind of forgot to say it at the part where it's said here. You hear a person saying, "Oh, he's got a weapon. He's got a weapon." Now, let's think about this logically here. So at these protests, right, usually we have a couple of police officers in the area, right? Because, there are times where the protests can get dangerous. There are times where, protests have turned into, brawls or altercations where the police need to intervene. Now, let's say somebody here, let's say me, Nuclear Pie here, was a police officer at this event, right? And I'm here to make sure that nothing goes bad, right? I'm here to make sure that everything's safe and sound. This is a peaceful protest and it doesn't turn into something else. If if Officer Nuclear Pie here, says that, "Oh, here's somebody saying he's got a weapon," I'm probably going to go over there and fucking do something about it, right? And I assume that there are a lot of, there would be a lot of officers too. Now, one really bad thing could have happened, right? Vito could have been fucking shot, right? Because again, you have somebody screaming here, he's got a weapon, he's got a weapon. All he has is his fucking stick, mind you, that he has from, that's what's left of his sign that these people destroyed. They did this to try and push him out, but they have to understand, right? This could have been very bad very quickly, because Vito could have been shot. This could have turned into something that it didn't have to. Police could have done something. They could have, maybe they assaulted him, to the ground because they thought he had a weapon. Again, he could have been shot, which is something that obviously we don't want to happen. He could have even been killed if he was shot. This was not something that should have been said, because this was literally putting Vito's life in danger. Now, there actually was a bit of assault at this event, and we're going to talk about what happened here. It actually involved one of Vito's friends. I believe he was one of the cameramen who was recording this, right? I'm not sure if it was the guy who was recording this video, but he was a part of Vito's little party, I guess. So, he was also, I guess, not anti-Chappelle, sorry. He was a supporter for Chappelle. But we're going to show you an image and a little bit of a footnote to this image here. So you can see here, this is an image from the New York Times, right? And you can see some person in a blue kind of mask pushing somebody who's holding a "Dave is funny" sign. I believe this is the person who was with Vito. This guy was pushed to the ground, actually. He hit his head on the concrete, apparently, as well. He thought he actually got a concussion from it. And you can see in the footnote here, the rally attracted counter protesters, including one who was pushed and asked to leave the premise. So not only do we have, this whole incident where, the media is the media here is, or some of the outlets, not all of them, right? Some outlets are portraying this moment here as, being something that it's not, right? Being something that, was aggressive, that was, disrespectful or something of that matter. And then, again, like, there's video evidence and shit that's not. But we also have, proof here of the protesters actually, some of them getting, very physical, assaulting people, pushing somebody to the ground because they were also protesting, but it wasn't what they were protesting, it was something different. And that's what makes me upset, right? That's what annoys me is that, we have these people that are so vehemently protesting, this is fucking transphobia. This needs to be removed from Netflix. But then you also have, and these people are preaching about all the fucking tolerance they want. But then we have anti-protesters who are, not only being, excuse me, I can't fucking speak. We also have protesters that are not only being, just discouraged and also just flat out, unable to protest what they want to because for some reason these other protesters have the right to do so. But we also have these protesters physically assaulting people because they are against what they are protesting. And again, these are the people, mind you, that are trying to, these are the people that are preaching about all this tolerance and all, being, being accepting of of oneself and like respecting their like choices and opinions or some shit. And then we have here, these protesters attacking people who are against them. Pretty fucked up in my opinion. I think I'm gonna wrap this up here. This is just, I don't mind. Again, like I have no problem with people, transgender people, people of the LGBTQ community. I don't care. The only problem I have is when it turns into something like this that, that is painting a different picture that should than, what we would expect to see, I guess. This is not something that should have happened. This is something that, could have been very much so avoided and very much so, just straight up not even a thing to talk about, right? Like, there was no reason that this person had to get physical just because another person who was, counter-protesting, these protesters, this person was being denied their right to protest because, this other group here isn't allowing it. That's not how that fucking works. But yeah, I'm going to end this here, you guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the sub button and like if you're new here. Let me know in the comments, did you guys also think it was pretty fucking funny when the person was just chanting "Repent" to Vito? I thought that was hilarious because again, there's like no fucking relation or religion whatsoever, and here she is saying, chanting and shaking like a tambourine, telling him to fucking repent for some reason. Check the links in the description below as well for the Twitter and Twitch. I do stream on Twitch and I'll stream here on YouTube sometimes as well. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.